IELTS Exam Writing Part 2 continues with the IELTS Terminators course on IELTS Writing for Academic English. Today we're on the 8th lesson of writing. What are we going to say in the first paragraph of our argumentative essay? We said in the last lesson that we need 5 paragraphs to do well in the argumentative or discursive essay in Part 2 of the IELTS written exam. In the first paragraph, we tell the reader what you're going to tell him. Remember that? So, it's like this. Here's what I am going to tell you about. If we make a presentation or write an essay and we don't tell people what it's about, it's pretty useless, isn't it? We get the information for this first paragraph directly from the question, and of course our own opinion on the topic that is presented. So we need to broaden some of our worldview and have opinions on some things. So let's look at a question that was actually posed in an IELTS exam. Remember, we're still in the first part. This is what I'm going to tell you about. Here's the question. In some societies, the number of crimes committed by teenagers is growing. Some people think that regardless of age, teenagers who commit major crimes should receive adult punishment. To what extent do you agree? So, what do we need to do here? Well, first we need to be sure we understand the question so we can answer it. If we don't understand the question, we may answer the wrong question. So, having a look at this, what is the question we need to answer in this example? Is it, how much is crime growing? No, it's not. Is it, should adults be punished for their teenagers' crimes? No, it's not that. Is it, should teenage criminals get the same punishment as adults? Yes, that's what it's all about. So if you answer the wrong question, you'll lose score because you're not on track. So, let's have a closer look at this, the same question, and we're still on paragraph 1. Here's what I'm going to tell you about. Our first task is to restate the question so that the examiner knows we understand it. But we need to try to do that in our own words, in other words. So, let's get creative and see if we can think of other words we could use to restate the question. If we use the same wording and the same format of the question, we will lose marks, because if you're just copying the question, then the examiner says you haven't used any of your knowledge, your English knowledge. You have simply restated the question in exactly the same words as it is. Don't need to be brilliant to do that. So, we're looking at some of the words here. So what are some alternative words we could use for some of the words that are in here? Like society, crimes, teenagers, growing, commit, major, punishment, Of course, there's others we could change, but let's make a start with these. So you can pause the video now, see if you can find alternatives to these words, and then restart the video when you think you have. Okay, we're back? Good. Let's see if we thought similarly. For society, we could say humanity or culture. For crimes, we might be able to say offence, transgression, felony, wrongdoing. Teenagers could become adolescents, young people, young adults. Growing could become increasing, mounting, rising. Commit could become perform, do, carry out. Major could be significant or serious. Punishment might become penalty, sentence, reprimand. Remember how we said before, if you have Word, you can type one of these words, highlight it, go to review, and look up thesaurus to see alternative words. So, some of this stuff needs to go in your vocabulary book, I think. Yeah? Here we are, still on the same question. We're starting to write now. See if we've changed a few of the things, but still say what the question is about. There are certain cultures in which felonies carried out by adolescents are on the rise, and a number of people believe that despite their tender age, young people perpetrating significant wrongdoing deserve similar penalties to those handed out to adults. Oh. Has that restated the question in a different way? Have I used the same wording or layout as the question? Do you think the examiner will think I know what this is about? That's the point, isn't it? Did you notice the indent at the start of the paragraph? I'm going to mention this many times through this course. Don't forget indent, blank space. So, there is another part to the answer to this question that we need to put in the first paragraph. Can you see what it is? To what extent do you agree? Remember, we said that in the first paragraph we restate the question and give an indication of our opinion. Here is where we give our own opinion. There is no right or wrong opinion, so just give your opinion. My opinion is that I do not agree, but you may have the opposite opinion, and that's just fine. The examiner does not mark you on your opinion, only on your use of English. So if you feel that your opinion might be controversial, don't worry about that. Just make sure your English is good. So here we go. There are certain cultures, blah, 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 blah. Here's where we add the bit about my opinion. I do not think this is necessary, and I will discuss why in this essay. So there it is, our opening paragraph. It's not very long, is it? It doesn't need to be, so long as it restates the question and gives my opinion. That's all there is to it. Right, here it is. To what extent do I agree? I do not think it's necessary. Right. Okay. In my first paragraph, I have restated the question using different words and different layout, so the examiner is well aware that I am aware of what is being asked. Also, I have given my opinion. I have told the examiner what I am about to tell him. So, I've done the job. In the next 3 paragraphs, I will tell the examiner the story about this particular proposition.